Hello, I am interested in going to Starkville, Mississippi to the Ulysses S. Grant Museum and Library. And I would like to write a proposal to obtain one of these travel scholarship grants. And the key is making your proposal clear, concise, well-written. Don't make any unnecessary work for the committee. Have it all planned out, the days you wish to come, what you want to look at, what materials they could have available for you. Now, these grants help in the expense, plane ticket, lodging, any copies you might want to make, things of that nature. And Mississippi State University welcomes graduate students to apply for these grants. Now, what I'm looking to try and unravel is Grant's progression towards the Black community. His father, Jesse Root Grant, was a very vocal abolitionist. Grant grew up in Southern Ohio, with slaveholding Kentucky just across the Ohio River. And so Grant is going to be brought up in a anti-slavery home by a very forceful father. Now, when he goes to West Point, he becomes friends with many Southerners. In fact, his roommate, Frederick Dent, is going to invite him to come to the family home. And there he meets Julia. And he's going to fall in love with Julia Dent. And the Dent family owned roughly 30 slaves. Now, the family's conflicted here. Grant's father and mother. In fact, not one single Grant member would attend the wedding between Ulysses S. Grant and Julia Dent. Now, Grant goes off to war in the Mexican-American War, and we know from letters that Julia kept, he was very sympathetic to the Latino population. Now, when Grant resigns from the military, he takes an offer from his father-in-law over an offer from his dad. And he and Julia are going to live in Missouri, where Grant will supervise, manage some slaves that Julia was given. At one point, Grant even owned a slave. Now, Grant was viewed by his neighbors as being a man not really cut out to be a slaveholder. They felt that Grant was not aggressive in his management of Julia's slaves and one of his own. Now, when the war begins, Julia has slaves. Yet Grant, her husband, is going to be very progressive in his policies. He wants the Black men, women, and children that are coming into his lines to be cared for, educated. And he sees before many people that the war is going to lead to the destruction of slavery. And something's got to be done to train and educate all these former slaves. And Grant comes through with a very progressive policy. And he does it without any direction from Washington. He comes up with it on his own. So Grant makes this transformation, and he does it apparently very easily, very seamless transformation. And when he's president, he becomes even more aggressive and even more of a progressive in terms of civil rights. So it would be interesting to go to Mississippi State University, visit this museum and library, and try and discover good evidence that will answer these questions that I have. Thank you.